not going to, but her general body behavior is very, very relaxed. So, oh, this is a beautiful herd. You can see she's literally surrounded. Oh, that was nearly on us. So we're in a position now where we actually can't move the car. If we did, it would probably upset, especially with animals that age. That little Ellie is probably no more than a month old. You can see how they corral and herd it. So if we had started the car, just the noise and whatnot might make them upset. At the moment, you can see they're very relaxed. They're just moving around the vehicle, actually on both sides of the vehicle. And you can see there's some more there. This little boy, I think he might shake his head. He's got that sort of glint in his eye. He's going to say, I'm going to teach this guy a lesson, but I'm going to do it very slowly, and I'm going to sneak up on them. Oh, we've got all around us. Going to the exact same spot where that female kicked up dust, and actually taking dust from the exact same spot. There we go. Yes, we see you. This is an incredibly big old cow just to the left of this little one, and she's really thick. Definitely one of the older cows in this group. It's amazing how dexterous their trunks are, and she's taking off tiny little leaflets off that. I can't even see what tree it is at the moment. Hello, old lady. Wait for her to pass, and then I'm going to move. The rest of the elephants have gone down to the dam, and all the little ones are having some fun behind us. Oh, it sounds like I can hear elephants swimming. I can't see it right now. I can definitely hear an elephant in the water right now. I can definitely hear an elephant in the water. So I just want to move forward a bit so we can have a look at what's going on down at the water's edge. Good morning, Australina. Australina is asking, are there any rivers that might be flowing after the rain? Australina, no. As I said, I don't think we had much more than about 10 millimeters last night. And unfortunately, that's not gonna cause any rivers to flow. So these water points, like the one we're sitting at the moment, are going to be very, very important in the coming months. I thought they might cross through. There we go. No. Deciding to take the long way around. Definitely the other elephants we saw, you could see by the watermarks on their body that they decided to take the short. Copy, thanks. You just check with them. There might be the same tracks we're following on the other road. North. Hello, little cheeky boy. Running behind us. Having a drink. Catherine, there is a bit of change in movement. These water points, like the one we're sitting at now, become very, very important. Water point in particular holds its water a lot longer than any of the other ones. Sorry, I'm just going to move so we can see a bit more. And oops. And so you will find congregations of elephant and buffalo around these water points during the dry season. And also predators, because my understanding is that there's not much other water very close to this in the neighboring properties. You can see they've now had their morning drink. Hello. Yes, we're not doing anything silly. Calm yourself. And they're actually now heading out to go forage. And I think we're going to stay with them for a bit. We had female leopard tracks in the same direction going. We just decided to check the dam quickly to make sure that leopard hadn't possibly popped up in this area. Young boys having a little bit of a play fight, a tussle to our left. So I'm just going to swing around. Nothing too serious, as you can see. So these young boys are always sort of on the peripheries of the herds. I guess from what I can see. So really interesting. It must be quite tough being a young male elephant. They reach sexual maturity, so they are able to mate from about the age of 14. But with all the big dominant bulls around, well, they can only actually start mating when they get to about 25, between 25 and 30. Let's move a little bit so we can have a better look at these. Look, he's doing the splits. That is not a position you see an elephant in very often. As I said, this looks a lot more like playing. They're not very seriously going at each other. Hold on a second, we're going to go over a big bump. This looks like, if you can imagine in human terms, as you can see, he's a bit taller, he's a bit older, and he's winning. Oh, and now the poor female in front gets pushed as well. And it's this type of behavior with the testosterone levels being quite high that causes these young males to be pushed to the edge of the breeding herds. They're just a little bit too rambunctious to be around all the little calves and whatnot. So I'm just going to drive a little bit quickly for a second. I just want to get around in front of them. Slumberman Global mobile to the south from down on time for hours. Themselves really worked up, and when they do, charging around, shouting, screaming. Oh no! Well, it looks like we're the next challenger. I see a gap. He's not looking at me. I can get him. So the rest of that herd, I can actually hear them off to the right. They've sort of spread out into the bush. Oh, he's chasing him now. They've spread out into the bush and started feeding. Yes, you're big and scary, I know. Go chase your friend. Just in that type of mood this morning. Yes, you're very scary. We're very scared. Yes, you've definitely won this battle. I love young elephant males because they're like, okay, I've won, and then they turn around and run like a little girl back to mom. Even when they're this age. He's going to turn around now that he's at a safe distance, and he's going to tell us how. There we go. Exactly. He's like, see, I told you, I'm very scary. They are wonderful animals. In a lot of ways, a lot of these characters are very similar to a teenage boy who's showing off. So in front of his friends, he's big and tough. But then all of a sudden, as soon as he realizes that no one's there and no one's watching, he loses all his bravado and sort of has to disappear down the road at high speed. So we got 3 young boys here on the periphery. So he's a bit younger than the other 2. You can just have a look at his tusks. Even though they're similar length, they're quite a lot thicker. So I think he's going to be a very big boy when he grows up. Looks like he's trying to decide whether he's going to step into the road to give us another talking to. Ah, no, it looks like he's feeding now. But literally, all those elephants we just saw have spread out, and they're now on this really wide arc of about, from what my ears are saying, probably about 300-400 meters. They're spread out over, feeding. And we've got the 3 young bulls on the periphery here. And for what it sounds like, the rest of the herd is further to our east. They're the 2 sparring guys. But with Ellies, and especially a herd that's got youngsters like that, get them excited. We're on the road, and we've got these lovely young bulls that are giving us a really good show. Heads up, trumpeting. I love it when elephant bulls do that. They lift their head up. I mean, they're such huge, big, impressive animals. And yet, they can look even bigger and more impressive when they do that sort of head lift. Now, you would have seen a lot of stuff's caused by movement. He is definitely full of the joy of life this morning. He's lost his playmate. His playmate's decided wrestling is overrated and he'd rather go eat. So I think he's looking for a new playmate. And it's not us. Sorry. Keep moving on. Hello, Big Scary. Yes, have a mouthful of brown leaf teak in the meantime. And you'll notice quite often with elephants, especially when they're doing a lot of this sort of displaying, which he's doing at the moment, he'll always try to keep a bush or a branch in front of us because it makes him feel safer. You can see when he's out on the open road, he needs to create distance between us. But when he comes from behind the bush, he'll come much closer. And that's sort of a natural boundary that makes him feel safe. But I am really enjoying spending time with this guy this morning. And just off to the left, we can't really see him. I just saw him now. There we go. He's going to go stab the other elephant in the bottom because he can. And because we're not playing along to his game. So you're full of testosterone. You can't mate till you're sort of between 25 and 30 because the bigger bulls won't give you the opportunity to. They have to get to a bigger size where they can actually compete with the older animals. So that's why we're seeing a lot of this behavior specifically from the slightly older one, who's running around. He's still running around in the background, and trumpets at nothing. He pokes out elephants in the bum with his tusks. So he's just trying to be a big deal. There he is. Oh, such beautiful, beautiful, soft morning light this morning. And these ellies in this round leaf teak grove. So you can see all these trees in front of the elephant are almost all exactly the same height. And that is actually because they are maintained, they are pruned to that height, and that is done by elephants. It's one of an elephant's favorite food. A friend of mine actually calls it an elephant lollipop, because they quite often got these long stakes. So they pull it out and they sort of chew the whole branch through. But when you see round leaf teak in this part of the world, it never actually reaches maturity. It never gets to a big tree because the elephants keep it at this young age, or keep it at this sort of height, and keep the plants producing new shoots. So nice and tasty for them. Oh, here we go. Trouble's back. He's going to teach the bush a lesson first. Well, I think we're going to let these ellies carry on with their morning. I'm quite keen to get back onto those female leopard tracks now that we've checked the dam. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the last track. They definitely haven't come out in this area. And I'm quite sure, with all the noise these elephants have been making, that she would probably try avoid the area where there's a large breeding herd. Strange enough, yesterday I was tracking a female leopard for ages, and playing round and round the termite mound with a breeding herd of elephants. And then when I went back after breakfast to go see if I could find her again, her tracks, and literally she'd been pushed from Buffelshoek Dam, just kept being pushed by there were about 3 or 4 different herds of elephant at Buffelshoek Dam yesterday. And she actually got pushed across our northern boundary by the elephant herd. So a female leopard would try to avoid a big breeding herd of elephants, and quite often they'll just lie still and try to sneak around the peripheries. But if it is the same female I was following yesterday, she's obviously had a really bad day with elephants yesterday, so she's going to possibly try to avoid them as much as possible. So, if any of you guys have joined us, I'm going to give a little warning before I go through this section. Unfortunately, it is where the leopard tracks are, but we do sometimes experience a bit of signal breakup as we go through this drainage line. So if we do, please bear with us, and I'll be back in 2 ticks. I just need to get on top of the ridge. Unfortunately, some of our signal areas that we have issues are in these low-lying drainages, and that is one of the favorite habitats of a leopard. So we've got to weigh up the options. But we're definitely going to go have a look at these tracks. And so if we do break up for a few seconds, please bear with us.